Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I just got thrown a loop. I have to apologize to my viewers. I had no idea Andy was on camera.
I didn't know either.
Well, you don't even have a mic. Would you just introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Andy Hangarter, and I'm pleased to be the marketing director of the Tommy Wynn Magic Show, and I'm very impressed with Tommy. He's a very talented young man.
Thank you so much. I was deliberately avoiding looking at you because I wasn't aware you were on camera, and I apologize. Okay. Well, now that we know that, I again want to say something about how much I do admire you, and I love that you shared the hemophilia thing here with me on the show. A lot of people probably read about it, and it's that missing gene, and it just prevents your body from... Well, I mean, I cut myself this morning, and immediately get a little bit of blood, you know, and but it coagulates.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's not like you have AIDS or anything like that, and it wasn't.
No,
it was a genetic thing.
Yeah. It's what happened was in the early '80s, and there's a huge misconception that every hemophiliac has AIDS or HIV. It's a huge.
Honestly, I never, but that's me.
Well, and there's a lot of people that, and it's a huge misconception. I'll tell you what happened actually in the early '80s when they didn't. Matter of fact, hemophilia has been around for a lot longer than the 80s, but my great uncle, my great uncle died from a common cough. He coughed, his esophagus bled, and he died. And the way that they treated it was by sitting him in a tub of ice around the affected area. And at that point, he lived most of his life not being able to move. Well, in the 80s, they found that if they do blood transfusions, they were actually able to somewhat. Not as effectively as today, but somewhat fix the problem. So people would go in for blood transfusions, and what wound up happening was they didn't have a correct way of cleansing the blood or testing the blood back then, and a lot of people got infected from contaminated blood.
Right, which could have been anything.
Which could have been,
hepatitis C, blah, blah, blah.
Could have been anything, and it could have been anyone who got a transfusion, not just hemophiliacs.
Right.
However, with me, when I was born, I had never actually, thank God, I was born 1990, which was when they came out with the first synthetic medication, albumin-free. So it's actually, there's no human albumin in the medication whatsoever, and it's actually all synthetic. And by synthetic, it has absolutely no human components in it, so there's no way for it to
be contaminated.
Be contaminated. So I'm very happy to say, just got done with my yearly comprehensive. I go to the hemophilia doc to make sure everything's fine. And
what percentage of people in the United States would you say have hemophilia? 1%?
It's actually, there's only about 20,000 hemophiliacs in the U.S.
Oh, that is really
it's pretty rare.
You're a very private club. I'm sure you don't want to be a member, but
it's all right.
You've rolled with it, and so is your mom.
It's fine.
My heart actually goes out for her as a mom. How did they know? Well, we could spend hours on that.
But at what age did you find out you were a hemophiliac?
Well, when I popped out, so to say. So I just popped out. They're like, he's bleeding. He's like, he's bleeding internally. All of his, his joints, his hands, everything is blown up, and he's bleeding internally. They gave me a vitamin K shot.
Oh.
Vitamin K shot made it worse.
Oh,
and
I know.
It actually made it worse and worse and worse. And they were very, until I was about 3 years old, they said, we are not sure how long he's going to make it. You know what I mean? We don't know. And that's what a lot of hemophiliacs and their parents are very worried about that, because they're new to it. They've just had a child who's a hemophiliac, and they're scared to death. So anybody that's watching this, and if this goes out there to anywhere that, to a parent to a hemophiliac, just listen to the doctors. They know what they're talking about. They've studied this for years, and I do upside down escapes. And I stab cards at the edge of swords, and I live every day to the fullest, and I thank God, besides a little bit of arthritis in my ankle from constant bleeding in the joint, I am completely 100% healthy, and I thank God every day for that.
I thank God too, because the world's a better place for you being in it.
Oh, thank you.
And for sharing that information.
Thank you.
That number may sound small to us, but when you're living something, or like a mother out there with a child, it's good to know.
Yeah,
I love it.
If I get a headache, the average person, before they go to sleep, if they get a headache, they go, I'll take an Advil, I'll go to sleep. I have to say, okay, it's probably just a headache, but I better get my medication before I go to sleep. God forbid I don't wake up. And literally, no, I don't mean to get in the doom and gloom, but I could have hit my head during the day and not realized it, and
See, I never even thought of that, the bleeding internally.
Yeah, that's
hemophilia comes to my head like even a paper cut could be.
Yeah, but and then,
that's really amazing.
Mm-hmm,
well, carry on.
Yeah.
Because, you just glow, and I think you're a special person.
Thank you
and
so much.
no one who matters knows that.
Yes,
so.
absolutely.
Well, and Stacy.
Yes.
And your mom and dad.
And my mom
and everybody in the studio, including you.
My mom and dad were on edge through my whole childhood.
I know. I really want to just embrace your mom because, again, I'm like that. I have an only child, and he had asthma, and many trips to the emergency room, and it's just, unless you've been there, you don't know. And I've walked that line where we never thought he was going to bring him home one time. And it's life-altering. And your mom was doing it probably on a daily, weekly, maybe monthly basis, but still. She's a courageous woman, and she raised a courageous son. And you married a wonderful woman.
Yep, and she understands my issue, more than anybody. We're meant to be together.
Oh, I believe that. I can see it when I see you two together. Well, we're in our third segment. Can you believe how time has flown?
Oh, really? Time flies when you're having fun.
But and I love when we come upon a subject. We weren't ready to talk about this, but it had to be spoken.
Yeah, and this is the first show I came public with.
And again, I can't thank you enough. I consider that an honor. Really, I do.
Thank you.
And back to Mom, and we're not going to teach you about Elvis now. But when you've got the Broadway theater, you signed the lease. How did you know which venue? Yours is like a Broadway venue where you guys can provide all kinds of different things. Well, you have how many shows there now?
There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 full-time shows and our premier nightclub.
I forgot about the nightclub. That's because I'm too old to go night clubbing. Otherwise, I'd be there. I can't stay up that late. One is Evil Dead the Musical.
Yes.
Greg Corin, who I know. I like Greg. He's oh no, you're handsome. But so, you have Evil Dead there.
We just purchased that show. We just purchased Evil Dead. We own it now. So
and I was so happy, and he's so happy. And Vinny Favorito, is he hysterical or what?
Oh, Vinny's, as I always say, I crack up with Vinny.
How could you not?
My family cracks up with Vinny, and I always say, just so people don't get offended, if you're not easily offended, then this is the show for you. But it's fun. He means no harm by it whatsoever.
Well, he offends everybody.
Yeah, he always offends everybody. Oh, yes. I've been offended many times, but I laugh at it. I get a kick out of it.
He's funny. I mean, when it gets to be crude and vulgar and just the F-bomb, or blah, blah.
Calls me the limping magician. I'm sorry.
The
limping magician, because I limp. But no one sees it on stage, though. It's only...
I didn't see it when I saw you walking down here. I wasn't looking for it. I was looking at your face.
It up well.
And your hair and your eyes and that smile.
Thank you.
Another one you have is Gocho y Kiye, and the Kiyes, it's Ragaton.
He's actually doing one special event at the nightclub.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah,
and so he's the DJ.
I believe he is the DJ for that.
And it's got to be reggae. It's kind of Caribbean.
It's a reggaeton, and I believe it's pronounced bachata. Bachata.
Yeah. It sounds cool.
Yeah,
I like
fun.
Reggae and stuff like that.
Really fun Latin music.
And then is Yandel, is that just a totally Hispanic show in Spanish?
Well, actually, the entire nightclub is premier. Yeah, premier nightclub is actually an entirely Latino nightclub, which is really exciting to have. It's sort of a great, there's not a lot of niches on the strip.
Okay.
There's a lot of EDM everywhere. EDM's everywhere. Every club's got EDM. You know what I mean? But besides a few, small Latino bars on the strip, there's not really a Latino club on the Las Vegas Strip that's to say, hey, this is, I think Blue Martini did a great job at doing some stuff, and I believe they do some great stuff over at Senor Frogs, and I believe a couple of other spots as well. But this is a mega club for Latin American music, and we're super excited about it.
Oh, I bet you are. I think it's great. Again, you've just kind of branched out, and you're covering all kinds of parts of the spectrum, and your show is family friendly.
Yes.
Another
Yes, it is.
good one. I mean, there are a lot of not family friendly shows, and you can't take your kids to a disco, and you can't take them gambling, so where are you going to take them? And I would say too, and I'm kind of debating this in my own head, what is more popular numbers wise? Would it be the adult comedy and magic or the family comedy and magic? What's your opinion? We have a couple seconds, but we can always come back to this after the break.
I would say that every show has its own niche, and the people who go see Vinny don't come see me. The people who see me don't go see Evil Dead. And so everybody's got their own sort of niche, and sometimes they cross over and they love both of them. So we've really covered the whole spectrum, because now we're partnered with the Vinny Favorito show. We own the show now. We also own the Evil Dead show. Of course, I own my show, and then
a little break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.